Welcome to Everyday English Boost, where every story helps you grow. Let's dive into today's story and learn English along the way.
Back to where I belong.
There was a boy named Jake, born and raised in a small rural town. From a young age, he felt stifled by the slow pace and simplicity of village life. Every morning, he would wake up to the sight of the same fields stretching endlessly and the quiet hum of routine activities that never seemed to change. The older he grew, the more he dreamed of leaving this life behind and moving to the big city, a place where he imagined endless excitement, opportunities, and a future that was his to create. As Jake entered his teenage years, his restlessness intensified. He began to resent the predictable nature of the town, the limited choices, and the familiar faces that he saw day after day. In his mind, the city symbolized freedom, independence, and a life where anything was possible. He envied the city people who seemed to be living fast-paced, glamorous lives full of thrill and adventure. To him, they had escaped the confinement of small-town life and were carving out destinies of their own. He became convinced that he was meant for the same path. So the moment he turned 17, Jake decided to leave his hometown behind. He gathered his meager savings, packed a bag with a few belongings, and with a brief goodbye to his family, set off for the city with grand expectations. His parents were heartbroken yet supportive. They wanted him to find his own way, even if it meant watching him go. They knew that Jake's heart was set on this new life and that nothing they said could change his mind. As he left, his mother gave him a small pendant, saying, "If you ever feel lost, just remember, we are always here, waiting." Upon arriving in the city, Jake was mesmerized by its vibrant energy. The towering buildings, bustling crowds, and endless lights filled him with exhilaration. He believed he had finally arrived at the place where his dreams would come true. In the beginning, life felt like an adventure. Every day brought something new, and he felt alive. He quickly found a job, rented a small apartment, and started to feel that he was building a life he could be proud of. However, the reality of city life began to reveal itself soon enough. The work was exhausting, and the pay was barely enough to cover his rent and basic needs. He found himself struggling to keep up, yet he was determined not to give up. He had chosen this life after all, and he didn't want to admit failure. Jake met people who seemed friendly, who offered him help and friendship. But over time, he discovered that many of them were only looking out for themselves. He experienced betrayal when a colleague he trusted deceived him, leading to a job loss. Another time, a friend he had lent money to disappeared without a trace. One by one, he lost the few connections he had made, and with them, his faith in others began to erode. The city that once felt full of promise now felt cold and unforgiving. Months passed and Jake's situation only worsened. He lost his apartment, and with no savings left, he was forced to live on the streets. The glamorous city he had once dreamed of was now a harsh reality, filled with sleepless nights and empty days. Alone and with nowhere to go, he felt the weight of his choices pressing down on him, the regret growing heavier by the day. He questioned himself, wondering if he had been wrong to leave his family and pursue this life. One night, after wandering aimlessly through the streets, he reached a breaking point. The dreams he once had seemed foolish. The life he wanted a distant memory. He sat on a cold bench, exhausted and broken, and for the first time in years he thought about his parents. He imagined them back in the village, the home he had abandoned, and suddenly felt an overwhelming longing to see them again. He remembered the pendant his mother had given him, which he still kept, though it was now tarnished and worn. With nothing left to lose, Jake decided to return home. He didn't know how his parents would react or if they would even welcome him back, but he had no other choice. The journey back felt much longer than his journey away. He was returning not as a young boy full of dreams, but as a man who had tasted the bitterness of failure. As he approached his childhood home, he felt a mixture of shame and relief. But when he saw his parents waiting at the doorway, his heart swelled. They had aged, their faces lined with worry and time, but their eyes lit up the moment they saw him. His mother rushed forward, embracing him tightly as if he had never left, while his father placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. That evening, as they sat together, his parents listened to his story without judgment. They didn't scold him for leaving or for the choices he had made. Instead, they spoke words of comfort, letting him know that they had always believed in him, and that nothing he did could change their love. In their presence, Jake felt a warmth he had forgotten, a feeling of belonging that he hadn't found anywhere else. For the first time in a long while, he felt at peace. Reflecting on everything he had gone through, Jake realized the true value of his family's love. They had been waiting for him day after day, hoping he would find his way back. Their patience and understanding gave him the courage to start anew. He promised himself that he would honor the lessons he had learned, not by running from his past, but by building a life grounded in gratitude and resilience. In the following months, Jake began helping his father with the family farm, something he once despised. Surprisingly, he found satisfaction in the work. The life he once saw as dull and limiting now felt fulfilling and meaningful. He understood that true richness didn't come from the glamour of the city, but from the love and support of those who truly cared about him. Through the struggles, betrayals, and heartbreak he endured, Jake had discovered that home was not a place but a feeling, a place where he was loved unconditionally and accepted for who he was. His parents' love had given him the strength to face life again, this time with humility and appreciation for the simple joys he had once taken for granted. With his family by his side, Jake no longer felt the urge to escape. Instead, he found purpose in the very life he had once dismissed. And in that quiet, rural town, far from the city lights, he discovered a new dream, one of peace, love, and belonging that he would carry with him for the rest of his life.